Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Replay Mega Man Battle Number 2. 330 special is go, when we're still getting close to 500. In the last part, we got here in Netopia, but we almost lost all of our money, and we have currently lost every chip in our pack, so Land's having a bit of a bad day. This must be the hotel. Let's go in the room. Sounds good to me. We need a nap after all this shit. The hotel, finally. Wait a second. Hey, what kind of a hotel is this? Well, it's been a pretty rough trip so far. I guess it's dangerous traveling alone as a kid. It's your fault, Mega Man. You were the one that said that guy might be nice. But you only got him because you agreed with me, right? You wouldn't be so calm about it if you were out here. As long as you're safe in your PET, you don't care, do you? Hey, Lan, that's not very nice. I don't feel like being very nice. Fine, you can be mean by yourself. I'm out of here. Fine! Good riddance, mega dummy. Oh my. Lan, I get it, you're stressed because all this stuff's been happening in a pretty short span. But I don't think you should be taking it on Mega Man. You probably should be a little more empathetic, but come on, Lan. Alright, let's take a walk to cool. Oh, hey there, Higsby. Haven't seen you since the last game. Oh, isn't that little Lan? How you been, huh? Hey, Mr. Higsby. It's been a long time, huh? I was worried when I saw your chip shop was gone. Oh, I saved up some money, so I left. Now I'm on a rare chip collecting trip around the world. And my number man's doing his part searching for that. Anything for a rare chip, huh? Well, I guess some things never change. Yeah, and you're still virus busted with Mega Man, huh? With Mega Man? No way. Oh my, huh? Did something happen? Lan told Higsby everything that had happened to them. Lan, that's wrong, Lan, huh? Whoa, Mr. Higsby, you scared me there. That's not the Lan that I used to know. Even if you fought, you and Mega Man were always best friends. Your hearts were one. You were inseparable buddies, huh? Seeing you two convinced me to give up my evil ways. If you two weren't friends, I'd be so sad. Okay, you're right, Mr. Higsby. It's my first trip overseas, and I got frustrated. I guess I took it out on Mega Man. So you're not in my head anymore, Lan? No, thanks to you. I have to apologize to Mega Man. That's my Lan. I always say two is better than one, huh? I'm very glad they realized that arc shouldn't go on too long, like 5 minutes at the longest is what it should be in a game like this. Good. Let's check in on Mega Man. Mega Man! I know you're angry, but I'm here to say sorry. I was wrong. You won't forgive me? Lan, it's not... what's wrong? Mega Man! Someone came in here and jacked into your PET. He sent in a virus and I managed to fight it off. But the man took your passport. Mega Man, are you sure you're okay? Just a little data damage. Nothing too bad. But thanks. Serves me right for yelling at you, Lan. Mega Man, you haven't done anything wrong. Let me take a look. Doesn't look too bad. Here. Lan restored Mega Man's data. Mega Man, let's get my passport and those chips back. Will you forgive me, partner? You bet, partner. Then let's rock. And thus we can explore Netopia, but first there's a fridge in the center with a jack-in port. Rustle, rustle. Lan opened the refrigerator. There's an HP memory. Cold, but useful. Who put that in there? Maybe it's complimentary in the hotel, eh? So for now, we need to find very specific NPCs to talk to progress the chain of events here. And thankfully, Netopia itself isn't too big, so it's not too hard to do.
I'll look for the stolen passport and battleship. Jim, who lives on a back street, knows about that stuff.
Alright, thanks, Gramps. Thankfully, just due to the limitations of how the maps in these games tend to work, you at most probably have about 20 NPCs you can talk to at this point, so not a lot to worry about in terms of finding your way around. We want to come back here to the back streets. This ain't a tourist attraction, beat it. Between the trash is a rat snacking on some food. Upon drawing closer, the rat scurries away. Where the rat was, there's a slightly dirtied reg up too. Gross, but handy. Am I Jim? Why do I gotta tell you my name, huh? Gramps sent you. Lost your passport and chips? If Gramps sent you, I guess I'll help, but it'll cost you. Bring me that rare Electopian chip guard asterisk. Sure, I don't have any on me, but I'll give you one. Alright, I'll tell you about your passport first. By now, it's out of our world and in the cyber world. Jack your Navi in and search for the thief on the net. To jack in, though, you need Raoul's permission. He runs the show. Tell him I sent you. If your passport's reached the internet, you'll never find it. You better hurry. Alright, and Raoul is a notably unique-looking NPC up here at the top. Make sure you save first, though, because this is going to be a net battle. Yes, I'm Raoul. Ah, Jim sent you. Alright, I don't help weaklings. If you can beat my Thunderman, you can jack into my radio. If you're strong enough to win, you can handle the rest. Sound fair? Land, challenge Raoul to a net battle? Sure. The pride of my clan will lead me to victory. Time for Thunderman. Thunderman, in some regards, is a little bit of the Shark Man for this particular game because the main gimmick with this fight is these 3 thunderclouds that are interspersed throughout the arena. They move left and right, and you can't phase through them, but you can attack them, but I don't think you can destroy them outright. Instead, your attacks will just bounce off of them. Thankfully, with having the Aqua Shot, I at least have a way to shoot the one I'm aiming at and what's behind it so I can hit Thunderman through them. But what's annoying about this fight in particular is because I have an Aqua style, I'm basically going to take double damage from every attack he has. Most of his attacks do involve the clouds outright, though. Occasionally, some of them will generate elect balls that will then shoot at you when you're perpendicular to them. And he can cause lightning to directly target you 3 to 5 times, depending, I think, on the version of Thunderman in question. And there is one more attack, but it doesn't involve Thunderman himself. It's an attack only his clouds do that he has no impact over. While the clouds are patrolling left and right, if you stand next to one for too long blocking it, it'll turn into a thundercloud and emit a little, like, lightning spear that will go in a cross formation around it. So the panels directly up, down, left, and right from it will be dangerous. So watch out for that. No matter what, this fight can be kind of rough just because of how mobile you have to be because of the thunderclouds. Usually boss fights that have this type of setup where there's a lot of movement involved, where you can get trapped pretty easily, are some of the most annoying. There's one of these at least in every game from memory, although they vary in difficulty between themselves. But we beat him all the same. This proves that you are indeed the victor. Very well, access the net. We got Raoul code. Could it be an Electopian samurai? I always liked Raoul out of like the side cast in these games, especially in the anime. He gets some really cool stuff done there. But now we can jack into his stereo and access the Netopian net. And if you're going for a very particular technique, I actually recommend grinding in this particular area, but there's also a very easy way to get it in the Netopia net itself. First off, though, we have a new enemy here. This is a Twisty. These are returning enemies from BN1. The Twisties themselves don't actively move. They stay in the same place. Instead, the remote bit moves across the area trying to track onto you, and its main attack is to rain lightning down that actively destroys the panel in question below it. They can be kind of annoying to take out quickly depending on the viruses they're paired with, but thankfully, it's more so they're there in an annoyance because of the panel destruction than the acts of damage they do. At least for now. Some of the higher variants are a little more annoying with that. Their battleship's also usually an easy one to get, but I don't think I get it this time around. Free Navi plus 20 once again. I actively don't put that one in my folder because I think I have enough of those with 2 plus 20s. And even though those are best paired with Gate Man with my current setup. And there's a bug frag. Welcome to the Netopia net. This place can be kind of annoying to navigate, but we can at least get a hint on where our next destination is from this particular net navi. came here to look for your passport, someone in Net Square might know about it, so we need to find the Netopia Net Square. Thankfully, it's relatively easy to find. The Netopia Net is a lot more complicated in its layout than the Yumbland or AC/DC nets, mostly because there's a lot of just very short passageways with the arrow panels that move you around that loop into themselves, so you can easily just find yourself going around in circles and circles again and again. For now, though, we got another new enemy. These are ratties. They move around randomly in the field and fire their little raton a bit that tracks onto you here and there. The way that works and the way the chip works is that it can move across the row, but then if it hits the column with an enemy, it'll move down into them. The annoying thing with ratties, they start looking kind of sleepy, but the first 2 times you hit them, they get more and more awake and angry, and that makes them not only move faster, but it makes them fire more ratons at once. So you want to take them out in 1 to 2 shots if you can. But before we head to the Net Square, I want to come this way for the net dealer here in Netopia. I think this is Netopia 2 or 1. Because they have wind and fan asterisk chips. Fan is a new chip entirely. It's like the wind chip. It is a box you can spawn in that pulls enemies towards you rather than pushes them away. But I want these less so for their active use effect and more for a very, very famous program advance that I'm going to be using, but not overusing, hopefully. My goal with this is to only have one of these in my folder just as a good final option or a quick finish off of battles. There are some playthroughs and some playstyles where you get 5 Gateman chips, 5 wind chips, and 5 fan chips, and just have those take up half your folder, and you can get that program advance out multiple times. And that's absurdly powerful, and honestly, it is not a bad way to go for completion in the game if you're trying to just get things done quickly, but it gets a little uninteresting if I do that, you know? This is the Net Square entrance. Netopian programs talk like this. The Net Square's beyond this point. The right warp leads to Netopia 3, I think. Alright, Netopia Square. We're here looking for information. Let's talk around with people. Security Netopia is strong because of the meeting. That's why programs like us are around. See any bad guys? Not actively. Saw a thug navvy leaving the square. Heard he's busy and has a meeting. That's a promising lead. I think in particular, it's really good to talk to the purple net navvies around here. I'm not a bad navvy. And very key thing, I don't have enough for it at the moment, but you can get another power up here, and I'm gonna want that. Before I jack out and leave the internet, I am gonna come back here and get that because I really want that to make my buster stronger. Are you looking for your passport? I think I saw a thug navvy with a passport. And thus the dots connect. We need to leave and head elsewhere. Because our passport is no longer in the square itself. But yeah, if you can, get the power up before any of the HP memories, because in a short term, that's going to be more useful. Long term, the HP memories are going to also be very useful, but that's going to be it for now. Also, keep in mind this trade for later. You can get you can give a Hammer Z for a Silver Fist V. There's going to be a reason to do that down the line if memory serves, but we'll talk about that when I eventually do it. For now, we're just going to head further into the Netopia area and hopefully find our targets. Oh, also, in terms of the standard viruses you're going to find just roaming about the normal Netopia areas, it's a lot of Mentar 2s, a lot of Tough Bunnies, a couple of leveled up B-Tanks, some Ratties, and another virus we'll be seeing momentarily. What do you want? I'm busy right now. Like Topian Passport's a big money. Huh? You're the name for the kid I just saw. Why, you deleted. Get him. And now we got 2 new viruses, Hardhead 2s and Full Fires. Hardhead 2s, by and large, just powered up Hardheads. They attack a little faster, they do more damage, yeah, but they are open, I think, for the exact same amount of time. Whereas Full Fires are powered up Meteor Fires, and I think the main thing with them is that they not only their Meteor stronger, I think they also throw more of them. At least that's the way their battle chip works, so I'm assuming that's the way the main version of them themselves works. Now that we're Aqua style, we're not going to need to worry about a lot of the Meteor Fire type enemies because we can hit them behind anything that they get behind. And that's going to be my main MO, fighting them moving forward. For now, though, time for a new program advance. If you put high cannons coded in sequential order, you get Zeta Cannon 2. It's a more powerful Zeta Cannon 1. It does the same thing where it does multiple hits, but it does Zeta Cannons for damage instead of normal cannons. So overall, pretty good. There, how'd you like that? Want some more? Now, give back Lance's passport. All right already, as long as you'll leave me alone. There, take it. 1 objective down, 1 to go. I won't forget this, you dig? Lan, yay, you did it! Now to get back the chips that were in your pack. Let's go back to that gym guy's place and have a look. Before we do that, though, I actually want to progress a little further in this particular area because there's a blue mystery data I want to grab because it's got a good item. Come right up here, and we can find ourselves another HP memory. But also, now we have enough Zenny that I'll be able to go buy that power-up, so we're going to walk back there. We're going to show this backtrack because there's a new virus along the way I encounter. And, well, that's pretty important. Netopia area is probably my favorite visually of the three, like, main country internets, if only because I really like the color palette going on here. It's nice and subdued. But at the same time, the blue for ACDC/Dead area is so iconic. Alright, here's the remaining new virus in the area that's not the upgraded B-Tank we've yet to see. This is a Cloudy. It's dead. Cloudies, they jump up and down and send rain clouds. I think either to the panel or at least down the row they're on. And while they're in the air, you can't hit them actively. But as you can see, what's interesting about them is that they are actively Aqua-type enemies to the point where hitting them with a tree bomb activates the tree bomb's ability. So you can use that in some setups to kill enemies a bit more quickly. Not too often, but often enough. Thanks to the style changes on top of just better chip refinements, Battle Armor 2 is a lot more interesting to actively try to build a folder in. I guess in some regards, it's actually like the first time I ever really built decks as a kid in a trading card kind of sense. Because growing up, I didn't really play a lot of trading card games. I collected Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, but very loosely. I only recently learned how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Within like the last month and a half. And Cyber Dragons are my shit. What you looking for, brother? Guard asterisks aren't rare in Electopia. Any Electopian tourist should have one. Alright, so this is technically optional, because more than likely you're going to have a couple of guard asterisks in your folder already. On top of that, the Metar 2s across the Netopia area are going to drop one probably eventually no matter what. But we can come over here for some quick ones. Guard asterisk? Yeah, I've got loads of them. I only get virus-busting ones. So stick out your hand. Ta-dum! Land got 30 guard asterisks. No need to thank me, he still got over 1,000 of them. So yeah, you don't need to grind guard asterisks at all to do this. This also allows me to talk about this chip trader over here. This is the chip trader special, one of a few of this variety in the game. They take 10 chips instead of the 3 that the one back at the Marine Harbor Center does. But they have a much higher chance of dropping very specific types of chips. Namely, that one has a higher chance of dropping support type chips, apparently. My help paid off, huh? Uh-huh. Right, now fork over guard asterisk. Here? Okay, fork it over. I got plenty of them, buddy. Yes, now everyone can see this and weep. Oh yeah, there's still the matter about the battle chips. Rumor has it a millionaire madam bought some rare chips. She's rich, so you can imagine where she is. We actually haven't explored where she could be, but if you were looking around, you might have already found her. I better be off. We'll meet again, huh? She is in this jewelry shop here. There's actually going to be some stuff we can do here down the line regarding some request board shenanigans, but for right now, our main duty is her. Miss Millions is high class, so she won't relate to commoners. Miss Millions is high class, so... Very nice. This boy might just relieve my boredom. Yes? What do you want? Give me my chips! But you are also very pretty. You claim these chips are yours. I paid 500,000 zennies for these. They're just darling. Well, how about this? If you can beat my snake man, I'll return them to you. That kind of excitement is worth 500,000 zennies. Land, challenge Mrs. Millions to battle? Absolutely. Oh, it's so thrilling. Snake Man can be a problem for some playstyles because of the permanent column of holes in front of him. So you can't reach him with certain sword chips, you can't reach him with like the shockwave lines, things like that. Those holes are there for a reason. He'll just spawn little snakes that go down their entire row out of them and they go down a line. They do damage, of course. But the main annoyance for me with Snake Man, whenever you're in the same row as him, he hides in his pot. You have to sort of bait him out and then quickly charge in for attack, or attack him when he's actively attacking you. And there's a couple of attacks he has. He can shoot himself down the row, sort of like the snakes, but with a shorter distance. He can raise his arm up in the air, and then at that point he does an attack similar to the super boss of BN1's Buster Rake, where he'll just machine gun fire and track you, and you just kind of need to keep moving until he stops doing that to avoid damage. But there's one method I'm going to use here that kind of just nullifies the entire fight. It involves a certain program that's been foreshadowing the entire game. When the Asterisk-G, Fan Asterisk-G, and any of the Gateman chips creates the best program advance in the game for its individual damage, Gator. When you do this, you spawn Gateman in front of you, you punch him in the back 3 times, sending out 3 waves of 3 projectiles that home in on enemies, each doing 100 damage base. So that's a 900 damage program advance normally. But each attack plus 10 boosts each individual hit, so you can get that very quickly to be very powerful. I lost, but it felt so pleasurable. As promised, here are the chips. After all, I'm satisfied. Here's something else for services rendered. We took the chips back and put them in our pack, but also we get the Millie code and 10,000 Zenny. You got me all roused up. We finally got back what was stolen. One more caper resolved. Now, I actually should have plugged into and jacked into her purse there because that's her computer, but we'll be doing that down the line anyway, because we have to do that for certain other things down the line. A little annoying that I forget to do that now, but oh well. But yeah, Gator is ridiculous. A very common endgame folder will be people just stack like 3 to 4 of those in a folder and just use that. I'm gonna try to stick to 1 for the most part because I think that's enough power, but if you want to, feel free to let loose with that because you can just break the game in half. The next day, morning Mega Man. Morning Lan, you're up early this morning. Let's get to that official Net Battler meeting. Alright, let's head on out. Lan, you've got mail. Alright, what do we got? OMBHQ Secret Conference. This is a notice regarding the location of the official Net Battler meeting. The location is secret to prevent a leak to Gospel. Net Battlers, search for the location yourselves. Nearly every turn conceals a secret that looks essential. That last sentence might seem a little weirdly phrased. There's a reason for that. You notice how every single word was capitalized? Take those capital letters, it spells our destination, Netcastle, the Net Castle, the only area up to this point you haven't actively had to do anything in the plot here in Netopia. So just head over here to the park and then head northeast. Alright, let's look around in here. Welcome to the Net Castle, a symbol of our Netopia history. Netopia has always led the way in civilization. By Jove, you look like a pal, I know that much. I already found the hidden passage to the meeting area. But before we do that, there's a Divine Goddess statue I want to jack into over here just to grab an item really quickly, honestly. On top of that, I think there's some new viruses in here, question mark? Although I forget where the mystery data is in here offhand. The problem with these generic computers is that because they all look the same, finding the mystery data and trying to remember where each one is a matter of just hoping you're remembering the right one, assuming you're in the same area as multiple others. Alright, here's the new enemy, Handy 2, upgraded Handy enemy. With that said, they react the same way. They start in some random tile, but then they teleport to the front of your field, drop a mine on it, and then wait for it to explode to do mass damage. They do have a stronger time bomb chip we're going to grab down the line, but honestly, if you're trying to do any kind of grinding, I'd recommend trying to get some, if any, high cannon chips from the Canodoms around here, because that's probably going to be better worth your time, depending on your playstyle. So, gee, does that area look a little suspicious with the lines? It's a secret door. And there's our buddy. Let's talk around to people. Oh, hey, Raoul. Hey, you. From yesterday, it's me, Raoul. I'm representing my minority clan. We must keep equality in both the real world and cyber world. Alright. My name is Princess Pride, the Princess of Creamland. My country far to the north owes its development to the net. I'm fighting to protect my people from Gospel. I'm Johnson, the net battler lover of freedom and peace. Nice to meet ya. And we got this lady over here. Looks like I found the hidden passage. The name's Jennifer from South Netopia. Let's be friends. Alright. Try to restrain yourself from goofing off here. People might think I'm a little brat too. Well, you kinda are. Huh? Looks like the meeting's starting soon. Welcome, Net Battlers representing the world. I'd like to call the official Net Battler meeting to order. First, let us go around introducing ourselves from... We've already done that. Move on to the main business. Loads of incidents have been breaking out all over. I hold the same views. You summoned us all to convey important information. Regarding Gospel, right? What in blazes is Netopia thinking, kids, and here? We'll show you how the kids are. How about battling here? Now that's funky. Bring it on, baby. You're being immature, Johnson. Anyway, let's get on with the meeting. I'll give you the lowdown on what we know about Gospel. Gospel is developing a super Navi. This being the ultimate Navi. Gospel plans to use it to conquer both the real world and the electronic world. Once the super Navi is completed, there's no deleting it. We have to prevent this from happening. HQ has obtained important info on how to do so. Please, take a look at the forward screen. This is the information... Huh? Nothing's appearing on the screen. Everyone, look out! Ah! Oh no, run everybody! It's no use, we're too late! Ah! Yikes! Ah! Lan! Yes. Where are we? An underground room in the castle? We fell quite far. Are you okay? Can you move? Yeah. Ouch. I just scraped it, but I'm fine. How could that be? Did everyone get off unhurt? According to HQ, our meeting was found out by Gospel. Gospel sent net battlers to disrupt us. Our data to hinder the Super Navi was stolen. Their net battlers hacked our intruder repel system. Traps in the castle were activated. Yes, they have their sights set on our lives. Oh my. Did you hear that, you guys? Yeah, this is inconceivable. That person was Shirley. Isolation's risky. Keep in touch no matter what. Got it? Then we can locate their net battlers and stop them cold. How long do I have to spend in this gloomy, dim place? Get me out here and I'll flush them out. Is that okay with you, young lads from Netopia? Well, understood. This area I got stuck on a little bit as a kid. Ah, Lamb, watch out! Whoa! The castle's traps are activated. Can we jack in somewhere? I'll handle this. Well, gee, I wonder if there's a computer that's lighting up green right over here. An old lamp switch probably won't work, but looking close, there's a jack-in hole on the side. This computer is probably one of my favorites, just because it keeps you on your toes a pretty good amount, I find, without being super annoying with it. This was the first network system built by Center HQ, so the network here is somewhat old. Be careful of cracks in the floor when you fight viruses. Yeah, a lot of the panels around here can just randomly start the battle cracked, and thus, if you step on them, they just become holes. Be careful, you may run into ghosts as you travel. Don't get caught, don't talk to them. Yeah, there's unique NPCs around here that are active hazards. There was a vampire who's about to suck my HP. And there's the first one, the vampire. Vampires will actively track into you whenever you pass by them. But here we got a Can Devil. This is a returning virus from BN1. And it's a little annoying even if you have an Aqua Style here to start. The way they work is that they will patrol up and down their column trying to stay in the same row as you, and then they will send their projectile, which is a fire that tracks through the entire row. It can pierce any given blockade, like a wind or fan box, a rock cube, anything like that. But if you damage them, the candle that's on screen that's tied to them will glow blue, slowly regenerating your health. Their health, rather. So you need to really try to either take them out in 1 to 2 shots, or take out the candle first. Either will work. Something I'm not sure about, though, is if you destroy, say, the candle and the Can Devil in 1 shot with, like, a Gutsman ship or something like that, if that counts for a double delete. I'm going to assume it doesn't, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. They can be annoying, and their battle chip's not exactly one I really like to use on the whole, but oh well. So our goal here is to run away from the various ghosts on these pathways and find a cyber key and make our way back to the locked door, or find the locked door around the pathway and get through it to get to the next set. There are going to be other mystery data along that path, though, so make sure you go by pretty quickly. Yeah, the vampires will actively try to track you. If they see you, they will try to take the same turn as you. That only works if, say, you're directly inside of them along the same pathway. Have you seen a ghost that looks like a shadow? It doesn't have a body, so attacks pass right through it. Only the strongest attacks can cut it down. Does that help? They're talking about a particular virus we're not going to see for a little bit still. I was caught by a zombie abroad here. Ghosts can only see straight ahead. Time to right, and you can use a corner to sneak around. So the vampires, if you get touched by them, they steal 100 HP, just straight up.
Whereas the zombie that we just generated, if you get touched by them, you get brought back to that gravesite looking area. But the interesting thing about the zombie ghosts is that they don't go along branching pathways. They will only stick on what is their main path. So if you can sort of keep a distance and observe where they're going to go, you can get around them no problem. There's only really one of the ghosts I find super annoying. We're not going to see that for a little bit still. What is kind of annoying though are Dominards. Dominards, they patrol down their column until they're on the same row as you, and then they go in for their attack, which is to teleport in front of you on the same panel as you basically, and sort of just do a full body tackle. But the annoying thing about them, they have what's known as StoneBody on them natively unless they're attacking. StoneBody is an ailment of sorts that you could use as a battle chip in the first game that the Gaias had on them innately, unless they were attacking, where if they're not attacking, any damage you do is automatically reduced to 1. So you need to sort of fight them as a counter-attack style rather than a proactive style. There are some chips I think that can pierce StoneBody from memory, but we're not going to be dealing with that for a little bit still. It's a program that controls traps. Mega Man stopped the program. The trap should be disabled now, Lan. Thanks. Let's jack out. Alright, 1 area down, 4 to go. Johnson! What's happened? Sorry, I got hung up by a trap. Mr. Johnson, I'm coming to save you. Where are you? I'm done for. Forget about me. Press on ahead. Yeah! Blast it. Body counts. What's with this place? Feels dangerous. The ceiling's closing in on us. Ah! Princess! The trap, it's the same one that just got Mr. Johnson. Door. Jack into the switch next to it. It might open. I'd like to, but my Nightman got hurt opening a trap. Lan, I can do it. Hurry, let me try. Hurry or we'll all be squished like grapes. I never thought Nightman would be so hurt. I underestimated Gospel. Can't exactly blame you for that. Seems like everyone's underestimating them, despite the fact they're clearly willing to take lives. Alright. CastleComp 2 is where things get a little more complicated. Zombies are dumb, so they don't check branch pathways. Vampire, however, will follow you around. One more thing, a ghost won't follow through a shut door. Yes, that is the next major thing you need to keep in mind. If you see a cyber key door and you go through it, they will not follow you through it. They are locked into their specific areas, so keep that in mind. Also, as you saw just there, sometimes ghosts will spawn when you approach an area rather than when you pass them. But you can take advantage of that because when they're spawning in, they don't actively have a collision box. So you can use that to just completely get ignored by them. And just start behind them, which is pretty useful in cases like the vampires. This vampire, I always forget how to interact with correctly. You really need to hang up where that mystery data is to have a chance to avoid it, but even then, sometimes it'll still turn down that way, I think. Bandits are here. I was robbed by a guy with a sack. This is the most annoying type in the game to me. Bandits love to make turns to the left. Remember, the left. So the way bandits work is a little more unique. First off, they're the fastest of the 3 ghost types in the game when it comes to movement, so you need to really kind of run to outrun them. Very quickly, here's me getting a double delete for the Candle battleship. Candle, I believe, places a healing candle directly in front of you on your side of the field, which does have a pretty good healing rate, but I just don't really like to go for the healing chips like that. I'd rather just use a recovery chip or a roll navi chip and then go from there, or even like a SubChip. And really quickly here, I'm going to be getting the Curse Shield battle chip from these 2 Dominards. It's called the Curse Shield, by the way, because I believe the Dominards themselves are called Curse as a virus name in Japan. This, I believe, spawns in a Dominard in front of you, and if it's in the same row as an opponent, it'll just go and attack them. So the way the bandits work, they won't actively follow you. They'll just turn left every time they have the chance to. But if they run into you, they steal a metric buttload of Zenny from you. Usually some about 7 to 10,000. With that said, you're not out of luck with that unless you jack out. Because whenever there's a bandit, there's a nearby little treasure chest platform that your Zenny will be collected on. So you can recollect it, just don't jack out when that happens. Next new virus, though, is a B-Tank 2. It's the same as B-Tanks, they patrol their rows, occasionally firing, but unlike B-Tank 1s, where their explosion was a column, B-Tank 2's, their explosion is a cross shape, so a plus. So that can be a little harder to avoid, especially if you're moving a little more slowly or in the middle of an attack. But they aren't too dangerous, and here I am waiting for that guy to pass by so I can now go the entire route without being interrupted. Let's get out of here before the ceiling collapses, Lan. Agreed. I'd better go with you right away. But I seem to have dropped my best battle chip. I'll cause problems for you, so go on ahead. Now hurry. Alrighty. Oh dear. Hello? Who's there? Princess! You're pretty good. But even though Nightman's hurt, he won't fall so easily. Who's that? He's not near the princess. Princess, are you still in the same room as before? Royal Wrecking Ball. She didn't notice. The phone must have turned on by accident. My Royal Wrecking Ball didn't work? It must be the power of that gospel navvy. Nightman's in trouble. No! Lan, Nightman's response has disappeared from the network. Damn it, the princess is in trouble! Ooh. That's a body count of 3. Mega Man, move on back to the room we were just in. Lan, it's no use. It's too late. All remaining net battlers search for the gospel net battlers at once. We can't allow any more victims. But... darn. Whew. This is traumatizing for an 11-year-old, I bet. All I can do is progress on, though. Ooh, body count of 4. Lan, huh? Jennifer! Check out those wounds. We were duped. Gospel net battler disguised amid us. Don't let your guard down. Jennifer, pull yourself together. I'm not long for this world. Just tell me their name. Tell me who did it, and we will know. Ah, well. What's this? Ouch! Hot! Lan, I'm okay. The flame just jumped a bit. But if it continues to rise, we're in trouble. We gotta get out of here. The switch on the far door is on. Maybe we can jack in, but we can't get close enough to... yeah. Damn it! If I die here, I'll never see the others again. The others? That's it, mail! Oh yeah, mail! Before we came to Netopia, mail gave me wireless. Lan took wireless out from his pack. Let's go! Yeet! Yes, it worked! Lan, jack in! Ah, good to see the Game Boy Advance wireless adapter is forever a useful tool. Alright. Network 3 is gonna... it doesn't introduce any new ghosts. The 3 we've seen are all there are. They just start to get a lot more complicated with interplaying them here. Like, we're gonna have cases where there's gonna be multiple vampires patrolling about in circles while a thief patrols an outer area and all that. Lan, another call. Yeah. Hello? Raoul! Lan, they got me. It's up to you now. People just dropping like flies in this scenario. Now Raoul too. Lan, don't you think this is strange? Huh? What is? I mean, they've got everybody. The only ones left are you and Chad. Wait, so that means the Gospel Spy Net Battler is... No way! Chad in cahoots with Gospel? I don't believe it. Hey, I don't believe it either, but... I just don't get it. Let's get out of here first and then worry about Chad. Probably a good idea before we become some bacon ourselves. As a kid, I got stuck in this scenario less for the actual navigation of this particular network, more for trying to outpace the damage of the vampires, and the boss fight itself gave me a lot of trouble at the end for reasons that I can only describe as kid me being dumb with how I was attacking it, but we'll talk more about that when we actually reach the end of the network period. With that said, despite it being a more slow song, this is one of my favorite network themes in the game. In a game full of admittedly nothing but bangers, but yeah, I like this one a lot. A bandit got you, he stole 8400 Zenny, but as we can see there, like I said, the treasure chest platforms in these areas will spawn blue mystery data that contain the Zennies that were stolen by the bandits. So don't jack out when that happens. I only saved earlier when that one happened, just in case something bad happened. All right, network number 3 done. So let's move on. Oh God, Raoul. Say before investigating him, just a word of warning. Raoul! Raoul! Ugh. Ugh. He's still breathing. He's gonna make it. Ugh. Lan, I didn't believe it, but you're the Gospel Net Battler? Chad? Are you out of your mind? Don't play dumb with me. But these circumstances are proof enough. Wrong, I just got here too. You're not the one from Gospel? So who got Raoul and the others? Nonsense. Anyway, I'm arresting you under official rights. We'll have time to talk about it all in detail later. First, I'll delete Megaman, the root of these evils. Proto-Man, time for a little virus busting. Huh. Proto-Man, I think, is easier in BN2 than BN1 to start, because for one thing, he's nowhere near as shield happy. Instead of trying to shield on most of your attacks, and you needing to attack him whenever he's attacking, his main thing is doing the opposite. He counterattacks you whenever you try to attack him normally, where he'll just teleport usually to one of your diagonals and do a wide sword in front of you to start. His later variants are going to have a little more they can do, but for right now, we can really take advantage of the fact he teleports like that to do some pretty quick damage to him using some close-range program advances. Like BN1, he does mostly stick in the background in this fight. He sticks on the back row almost entirely. Eventually, he will try to teleport behind you to do more wide sword and sword attacks, but if you just stay on the proactive side and cause him to try to counterattack you, you can counter his counterattacks pretty consistently and make this fight overall pretty quick and easy. Navi chips are also pretty effective here. It's his later variations where things can get a little more annoying, as are usual for fights against Proto-Man in this series, to the point where I'm really not looking forward to doing that redo of 6's LP, because, oh boy, there's a fight in there I never showed off that is a nightmare. Admittedly, part of the reason this particular strategy I like to do works is because I've put a lot of power-ups already into my charge stat on my Buster. If you went more into attack and rapid to start, this fight can be a little more annoying, but even then, just firing your Buster at him outright can cause him to counterattack pretty regularly, so rely on that all the same. Chad, sorry, Proto-Man, I'm weak. My weakness deleted, Proto-Man. If I could have just hated you with all my might. Chad. I don't need sympathy from villains. Chad, it's a misunderstanding. Lan's right. Neither one of you's from Gospel. She's the real criminal. She wasn't hurt by Gospel. We've been fooled. But, believe me, she went up this way. Raoul! What a farce. Sorry, Lan. Yeah, fooled me too. I distrusted you. Lan! Yeah, we gotta go stop the Gospel Net Battler. I'll leave this to you. Without Proto-Man, you're our only hope. It's in your hands. Okay. Alright, let's go find out who the big bad is here. And if you've been paying attention to certain things, you may have already noticed who it is because there were 2 deliberate hints dropped. Namely, the name of a net Navi. Princess Pride? You were the Gospel Net Battler! You got me. I'm a gospel leader. On my boss's order, I infiltrated your organization. But official net battlers sure aren't any big deal. All easy to fool. And then them sending you? Please. What do you mean by that? I expected that kid Chad to come for me. So I figured I'd have to deal with him. How annoying. So how do you plan to defeat me? That floor is gonna give way like before. I won't fall for that again. I've got a wireless terminal. It wouldn't be any fun otherwise. Nightman's growing impatient. Megaman, was it? Come then. Megaman, let's do it. Sure thing. The other hint, by the way, is that she noticeably says that that was the same trap that got Johnson. How would she know that? Okay, the final 2 networks here for Castle Computer are where they really start to get complicated, because not only are there going to be a lot of shorter pathways that you need to sort of lead things along, but there's going to be some cases where they will spawn two ghosts directly after one another, and you need to contend with both of their rule sets at once, and that can be kind of overwhelming. But the biggest danger in these two networks is that I think this is where the shadow viruses that particular Mr. Program in one of the earlier computers talked about, I think they can technically spawn in the earlier ones, they're just more likely in the later ones. And just to be completely upfront with you, you're going to want some swords or sword-adjacent battleships in your folder for these networks because of that particular virus type. In fact, I think we encountered the first one momentarily, I want to say. Another bug frag, I'll take that. There it is. So shadows can only be damaged by sword or sword-adjacent battleships. And thankfully, since they have 80 HP for now, pretty quick to kill with that. The shadow battleship's kind of interesting. It does the same effect to you. You can only be damaged by sword type attacks, so like swordies and viruses like that can damage you. Same with shadows themselves, I believe. But additionally, I think it turns all of your charge shots into step sword battleships, but I think that might be thinking of BN3 with that. With that said, attack-wise, shadows are a little weird. They teleport to the panels perpendicular to you to attack. If they transform into a dagger, they're going to be above or below you and try to move to the opposite side. And if they're an axe, they're going to be in front or behind you and basically do the equivalent of a sword attack on the back or front of you. Because of that, there's no real easy way to avoid them that's not just taking them out outright. My best advice would be to be in your back row when there's one potentially, because then if they spawn in front of you, you can just do a quick sword attack and kill them. If they're behind you, there's not going to be much you can do until they become some other of their attacks. And on that regard, they can be very annoying, especially later variants of them, especially a later variant in BN3's endgame. More on that when we eventually reach that, because that fight is a nightmare. But yeah, this is where they really start to get complicated with them, because like here's the section I was talking about earlier. We have multiple vampires patrolling while there's a thief going around the outer rim. And here's where they spawn two in it's all three in very quick succession. The way you're supposed to get past that vampire for a mystery data, by the way, is you can just clip through it while it's spawning. And there we finally get ourselves an aqua sword, like with a Lekin fire sword. It is a water elemental wide sword. Pretty good for damage, especially if there's fire type viruses or bosses nearby. Recover 120, does what it says on the tin, recovers 120 health. Not too bad to use. In fact, it's a good one-off healing chip to have, even if it's out of your usual codes. Because there is something to keep in mind with this game, is that while having a minor, like 1 to 2 chip code deck to get through things quickly is good, it's also good to have like 1 or 2 off-code chips that are just high damage, because they'll still be worth having around, especially if it's like one off-code thing that does like 200 damage versus 3 cannons that just do 40 each. And that is a mindset I sometimes find myself getting into, where I sometimes maybe try to make things all unit code or dual code, and that gets in the way of my actual damage potential if I'm too focused on program advances. So keep that in mind if you're playing along, or playing any of the games, period, really. I always take dumb hits here at the end of this network. I don't know why. I think it's just that I'm impatient. Which, honestly, tracks. So now that we got the key, let's grab our lost Zenny and progress towards Nightman, who got one of my favorite redesigns for a classic Rollout Master in the series. Mind you, the ones that they do for Megaman.exe are just generally good designs. You're Nightman. I have no ill will against you, but I'm afraid you must die. It is my sworn duty to protect the princess, you see. But that doesn't mean you should do evil things. Nightman, have you forgotten what the boss said? Destroying the net battlers is for the good of Creamland. I'm sure no good can come from what you're doing. Yeah, you really think this is going to make folks happy? Princess, what are you waiting for, Nightman? Just do as I say and you'll be fine. Do as you say. Yes, this sounds right and just. You feel some doubt in your heart, don't you? Mega Man, doubting the princess is not in my programming. Even if she is wrong, I must protect her. It is my way. Now, on guard. Nightman can be troublesome. He only has 800 HP, yes, but you might notice he's gray at the moment. This is because Nightman has both StoneBody and SuperArmor. So he won't flinch from your attacks to begin with if you hit him when he's vulnerable, but when he's not actively attacking and fully colored in, he only takes 1 damage. So we kind of need to pull a version of the Proto Man strategy here, where we stick in his row and just make him attack us, to get some very early damage before you try to pull out any program advances that you might not have by default. Occasionally, he will leap forward a square or two, or even backwards, which when he does that, every panel on the field will crack, and that can be kind of limiting. If you don't stay in his row for too long, he'll launch his mace in the sky, which will cause 3 rocks to rain down randomly across your field. And even though I think it might also depend on the amount of panels you have left, that can happen up to 3 times, so watch out for that. If you're right next to him on any of the panels directly around him, he can swing his mace ball around in a circle, which can do some pretty good damage. On top of that, if he can't jump forward anymore, he can use a singular panel grab, but I might be thinking of a later appearance of him in the series now that I think about it when it comes to that particular move. Either way, be careful. Nightman was a nightmare to me as a kid because I was super aggressive with the Buster instead of trying to go in when I could actually counterattack him, and that just made this fight a nightmare in length. No way. Nightman lost? Lan, I'll turn off the trap switch. Yeah, go for it. Okay. Yes, this should take care of it. Nice try. But even without Nightman, I can manipulate the traps. Everyone will perish. Lan, be careful. Let's get out of here. Yeah. Ah! Princess. Thanks to you, we could save the organization. You have my eternal gratitude. What about Raoul? Is he alright? He's in the hospital by now. Good thing discovery was quick. We're rescuing the others now. They're wounded, but safe. 0 body count. And the princess? Did she die? We've rescued her too. Her wounds are healing, but she'll be questioned as soon as she's better. I don't think you'll be seeing her for a while. I heard a story once. Creamland was one of the first countries to get on the net. That's how that tiny country got so powerful so fast. But soon after, the big countries caught up to Creamland. Creamland was just in their way and got left behind. The princess might have joined Gospel to get revenge. Wow, I didn't know about that at all. I still don't think she was right to do what she did, though. What I do know is that the real enemy is Gospel. Right. With Megaman and Protoman together, we have a chance. Sorry about Protoman. You forget so easily, my friend. You and I are different. All of Protoman's programming is safe in my head. Really? So then Protoman isn't... I don't know why that should make you happy. It should be clear that I do not plan to team up with you. The next time we meet, Protoman will defeat Megaman. Later. There goes our bestest buddy. Man, that Chod guy burns me up, but those Gospel guys are even worse. Let's go get them. Yeah, I'm ready when you are, Lan. Let's do it. Woo! Home to Netopia. So much occurred and time truly flew. Next time we should go on vacation with the whole family. You said it. More relaxed visit would have been nice. Lan, are we cool on the takeoff time? I'm pretty sure the plane leaves at 9:30 a.m. It's after 8 now. Perfect timing. Shall we head for the airport? Why not? But before we do that, there is one thing we want to take care of here in the main portion of Netopia. We want to talk to this guy. Hey boy, want you buy a Netopian souvenir? Sure. First I got this brooch. It said a Netopian princess once wore it. Normally I charge 100,000 zennies, but you special customer I give you for 1,000 zenny. You buy? Sure. You buy brooch, merci beaucoup, boy. I have more souvenirs, so come again. We want to talk to this guy several times. Next, I got this. Every Netopian kid wants this popular robot, Robo-X. This is very popular and very rare. I give you a special price of 1,000 zenny. You buy? Sure. Haha. You buy Robo-X, you generous, very generous boy. But I only have one more souvenir. Come again. One more to get. The final souvenir for today is this. Gold ring. Perfect as a gift for that special girl, yes. I give you this too at a bargain price of 1,000 zenny. You buy? Absolutely. You bought gold ring. I now all sold out. Mercy, mercy. You remember how towards the end of the last part, Yai emailed us asking for a souvenir? That's not a joke. You can get a souvenir for all 3 of your friends back in AC/DC, and you get some decent rewards for doing this. But I think if you don't do it now, you can't do it ever, I want to say. I've almost always done it now once I learned it existed. Hi, Lan. Thanks for helping us out the other day. This is a gift for you from all of us net battlers. We hope you like it. And now we get the ONBA code. You can open the Netopian official security cube with that code. Please use it. Which now means we have more access to more parts of the net, which is always good to do. Also, there's a SubChip guy here, even though I don't really need anything. Locate enemies we're going to need eventually when I do chip grinding, but that's then and this is now. And thus, our time here in Netopia is pretty much wrapped up. You might want to do some chip grinding now. I think maybe even at this point you might be able to, like, fight Nightman V2 and all that jazz. Is it okay to put this on board? It's got poison. What if it escapes midway through? But the flight's about to leave. I'm sorry, what? Well, right now, let's save, because it's time for more Proto Man. How long are you going to keep staring at people? Proto Man's already back at it, and stronger than ever. Land, will you accept a net battle with Chad? Absolutely. Bring it on. Should pay for my test expenses. I like that it implies if you lose, the other characters also get Zenny. So, Proto Man V2 gets a notable HP buff. I think this is the first fight we've seen in the game from memory at over 1,000 HP. But the strategy is by and large the same. He doesn't get many new moves, I think, until his third variant, which is, I think where most bosses get a notable shift up in some regards. Like, I know we're not going to see it for a while, but I think, like, Nightman V3, for instance, actively mixes with his raining blocks from the sky and all that jazz. You can wait to do this, but I recommend doing it now, especially if you have certain codes primarily in your folder, because Proto Man's chip being a B code because of his Japanese name means you can do some pretty good stuff. The B code in this game is still very strong. I don't think it's as strong from memory as the B code was in BN1 or Operate Star Force, but it's still really good. I just tend to use the G code more often than not because I like both Gut Shoot and Gator a good bit, and it codes well with both of those. And that wraps up Proto Man. His battle chip, by and large, is the same from memory as it was in BN1. He teleports to enemies and then does swipes with his sword. Theoretically speaking, it's an unbelievable result. Ah, sore loser, that's my buddy. I believe the ticket machine's the point of no return, by the way. We'll be able to come back here eventually, just not for a little bit. And by that I mean like maybe an hour or two. Somehow or other, this is exciting. Hey, kiddo, you'll show me your passport, won't you? Sure. Hikari Land. Okay, so where are you off to? We're heading back home to Electopia. Bingo, no mistake about it. Okay, have a nice trip. I will, thank you.
What do you say we go ahead and board?
No, thank you, mystery old man, I'm good. So before you actively leave through the top right, you actually do want to check out the shop here, because unlike the shop back at the den area end, there is actually a computer here you can jack into. You can get a chip right now you might not be able to get for a little bit, so make sure you do that. I won't lie though, in some regards, it's kind of funny going through these airports at this point in the game. Because this game was developed largely through 2001, before certain events where airport security got radically different, especially here in the States. So just seeing the slight remnants of what it was prior to that is kind of funny to see in a Mega Man game. Alright, so this computer has some notable new viruses in that it has both the V2 and V3s for the mushy line. So if you want to try and get all the spice chips, you can do that now. I'm going to wait on doing that besides any ones I get while I'm actively here. But it allows me to rectify something I actually should have mentioned about the mushy chip last time. The mushy chip does work like the mushy attack, but something I forgot to mention about it is that I think your attack variant will only spread spores on grass panels. On top of that, in regard to each of the upgraded variants having different status ailments, I think I was thinking of a virus from a later game. I think the mushies just get stronger in their damage. Like, the mushy themselves do 20, the mashies, which is the V2, do 40, and the moshies here do 80. So that's my bad. I guess with how similar the Battle Network games get, there's a lot of times where my information just gets crossed on when certain effects happen and what minor differences there are. Like there's an enemy type that's in BN1, 3, and 4 in specific that acts a little different in 4 specifically due to both engine side differences from memory on top of just new ideas at that point. I didn't get the chip though, oh well. But right here we get the Lance P chip, or as I like to call it, Thunderman's Kryptonite. It is a wood elemental chip that I think does 90 damage by default. that attacks entirely, exclusively the back row of the enemy field. So if you can use that right, you can take out things pretty quickly. Here's the Mashies, by the way. And you can also, I guess, run into Puffballs here if you want to try and get their battleship. I already have it from the Mother Comp, but it's still there. From memory, the Mashies can be found in a much later area in the game, but if you're trying to get a Mashies chip, you can only fight them here. But with that, though, I'm about to need to end this off here. There's a cutscene immediately after I go through the next screen transition I do, but we're gonna save what happens next for the start of next part, which again will be relatively soon. I already have some more footage recorded for this one, trying to get a bit of makeup space in and all that. But with that, I want to thank y'all for 330 subscribers. I know we're very late to this again. We're closing in on 500. I'm really trying to speed through these, but with each of these being about an hour long on top of gameplay recording now, it's rough. By the time we catch up to that number we're getting up to, we might actually already be into Battle Network 3. Who knows? But with that, thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Take care. And next time on Let's Replay Mega Man Battle Network 2, The Flight Home. See you guys then.